Hello, my dear students. I hope you people are fine. Let us continue with our chapter, that is structured query language. So in our previous video, we have seen the unique constraint and then few examples of primary key constraints we have seen at the column level. So today in this video, let us have a glance on primary key constraint, its basic syntax, and then we shall discuss about the column level as well as the table level constraints with examples. So what is primary key? Primary key is a constraint which is uniquely identify each records in the database table. Primary key constraint is a combination of both the unique constraint as well as not null. That means wherever we apply the primary key constraint on any of the column, that column should contain the unique values, that means the distinct values, plus it cannot hold any null values. Therefore, the primary key definition is it's a constraint that uniquely identifies each record in the database table. And this primary key, it has to contain the unique values. It cannot contain any null values, and each table can have only one primary key. Now, primary key can be one column or the combination of column. So when they are combination of a column, we can also call it as a composite primary key. So how do we apply this primary key constraint onto the columns? By using the create table or by using the alter table command, we can create the primary key. Now let us see the examples to define the primary key. So herein I have a table known as an employee ID, as in we have discussed in the previous video. That is, here I am making the employee ID to be as a primary key because this employee ID cannot have a repetitive value. It cannot even hold the null values because every employee must have an unique ID wherein the name, the department, age, salary, city, therein the values may duplicate. They may have the duplicate values, like the employee name Tina can be repeated here. Department, HR department can be repeated. Age can be repeated. Salary, city also. Aadhaar card is a unique value, but it so happens that some employees may produce the Aadhaar card, some may not. Therefore, we have created the primary key as an employee ID. Therefore, this employee ID column cannot have any null values, plus here the duplication of value is not allowed. Even if you try to put the duplicate value into this, that SQL will give an error message. Okay, so this is how I've created the primary key as a employee ID column. So herein you can see that example. With the create command, I'm able to create the primary key. Create table employee. There's a table name is employee, wherein I have taken the field as ID, whose data type is number, and I'm applying the constraint known as primary key. Now this example is at the column level. Okay, it's a column level. Why we call it as a column level? Because column level definitions are those which are defining the constraint immediately after defining the column name. Now here, after immediately defining the ID column name, I have defined the constraint. Then such type of an constraints such type of definition I can say it as a column level definition. If at all, if I have defined the constraint at the end of the table after defining all the columns, then I can say it as a table level definition. So herein I am making the ID to be as primary key, then followed by the next field name with the data type as character, whose size is 20, then department data type as character, age as number, salary, then city. Okay, so after this, when I press enter, after semicolon, when I press enter, then I'll get it as a table created. That means our employee table has been created, wherein ID will be applied with a constraint that is primary key. Now Let us look at the syntax of the column level definition here. That is syntax at column level: column name, data type, constraint, constraint name, primary key. This is very much similar to that of the column level definition in the case of unique and not null. Now here in my previous example, that is field name was ID, its data type was number. Then constraint and constraint name is an optional. Whichever has been enclosed in brackets, square brackets, it's an optional. Therefore, it was not considered, and directly we have defined the constraint name. But how do I create the table known as employee? By using this constraint. If I give the constraint, how we shall apply the constraint? We shall look here in this example. Create table employee, okay, ID number 5, constraint, and then constraint name. Now this constraint name is any user defined name. I can give any name here. Then followed by the constraint. What is my constraint? That is primary key. Then followed again next all the different other fields you want to define it. So this constraint and constraint name is an optional. Therefore, in a short way, what we use usually as a practical viewpoint, so we directly, after mentioning the column name, we directly mention the constraint there. Here also, but here I have given it constraint and a constraint name. So both is fine. Okay. So these are just the different ways how you can define the constraints on the column level. Now let us see the next constraint at table level syntax. So constraint, constraint name, primary key, followed by the column. On which column you want to apply the constraint. So these columns you have to define here. Column 1, you can even apply the primary key more than one column also. So column 1, its data type, column 2, data type, up to column n, data type. It might be only one column you can define. In my previous example, only ID have taken as a primary key. So only one column will be there. If I can have two, then we have to mention here. So we shall see the example. Here you can see it. Create table employee, ID number, name, okay, department, age, salary we have, city. Then after defining all the field names, at the end we are defining the constraints. Then constraint, constraint name, okay. Then apply which constraint you want, that is primary key, and on which column I want it, that is the ID, and then close it with a semicolon. So this is how you can have defined the constraint at the table level, that is primary key. Both does the same. Column level also does the same. It is also applying the primary key on the field ID and even at the table level also, but the way of defining is different. That's it. Then suppose at the time of creating the table, if I have missed out applying any constraint, later I want to add the constraint, then through the alter command I can apply the constraint. Here you can see alter table employee, okay, add, you are adding constraint, right? Add constraint, constraint name, primary key, and then specify the column name. So here also constraint and constraint name is again an optional. Directly you can even write alter table employee, add primary key of ID. Even if you write also same way, the primary key constraint will be applied on the ID column in the employee table. So these are just the different ways to define the primary key constraint. Now with the different examples I can even explain you here. Here we are creating a table known as suppliers. With an call field names as supplier ID. I have even applied the constraint known as not null. That means when I define this as not null means supplier ID field cannot hold any null values for it. Then supplier's name, okay, contact name. Then here I have applied at the end of the table. Therefore, it's an example for the table level constraint. So constraint, this is constraint name, which is an optional. That's constraint name. Here I have given a supplier's PK. That's primary key. Then mention your constraint name. That's a primary key. Then on which field you want to apply the primary key constraint, that is on supplier ID. So you need to mention it in the column. So this is the same way. So here we have n number of columns. Here only we have applying on the single column. Now this is an example again with the same as for the column 11 constraints, wherein here only after defining the ID I am defining the constraints here. Now let us look at the other example also. Here we have an customer table. Okay, that create table customers ID. Integer is again a data type, not null. Name, work year, again not null. Age, okay, we have address, salary, decimal. Then directly constraint and constraint name is an optional for us. So directly you can even mention primary key of ID. This is also fine. Because remember always the syntax here, the constraint and constraint name is always the optional. Therefore only primary key and the column name it has been specified here. Suppose with different alter command, if I want to add the primary key constraint, alter table customer, add primary key of ID. As I was telling in my previous example, constraint and constraint name is again an optional here also. Now let us look at the how we can define the primary key on multiple columns. The same example you can consider. Here you can see primary key ID comma name. That means in this customer table I am creating a constraint on two columns, that is ID comma name. That's why this syntax was column 1 comma column 2 and their data type. I hope you are able to understand. Similarly with the alter command also you can create the constraint on multiple. Same alter table customer, add constraint and constraint name. So even if you skip this is also fine. Then directly primary key ID comma name. This is constraint name is any user defined name, any name you can give. Just constraint pk then primary key ID comma name is also fine. So this was about the primary key constraint. Okay. Now with an example with this image, herein I have created a table known as student, wherein we have the fields name as roll number, name, batch, phone number and citizen ID. So therein they are creating for the roll number field they have created the primary key. Now look at this example table as employee ID and employee name. Look at the values here. So this ID, employee ID has been created with the primary key constraint, means this column cannot have any null values and whatever the values it is holding will be unique and distinct. We cannot duplicate the value as 1. For one more employee ID I cannot give as 1 1 1 and all. So whatever the values they are entering should be unique. So this was all about the primary key. Moving on to the next one, that is a foreign key. This is a very important constraint. Suppose when we want to relate two tables and retrieve the records for us. Okay, when we want to link the two tables, then we have to use the foreign key constraint. Okay, now we shall see a foreign key in one table is pointing to the primary key in the another table. This with an example I can show you. Then usually what does this foreign key does? It actually establishes a relationship between the two columns in the same or the different tables. Now when we can establish the relationship between two tables is when only we have a common column between them. I can say that if at all, if two tables have to communicate with each other, then there should be a mediator, then only they will communicate. Now that mediator is a common column that may exist between the first table, and the common column should be there even in the second table also. That's how we can have the foreign key. Then we can have one or more fields can be defined as a foreign key. Okay, in a single table we can have one or more foreign keys, and a table may have multiple foreign keys and each foreign key can have a different parent table. Now this one I'll show with example. Okay, so each foreign key is enforced independently by the database system. Therefore cascading the relationship between table is being established. That means what? we can join the tables, one or two tables, okay, by having a common column between them. Now here we have the syntax at the column level as well as at the table level. So here also again constraint name, references, and then referenced table name, and then column name. I know you may not understand this reference and reference table. First I shall show you with an example, then we can see the syntax. Now look at the table here. We have persons table and then orders table. Now we shall see the create table first command. After once I create this, how the table looks like. Now create table persons with a person ID, okay, with whose data type is number. Then I have given a constraint known as primary key. Then last name with the data type varchar, first name with the data type as varchar, age and number. Now once if I execute this query, okay, then an empty table of person table will be created. An empty table named as person with all the fields like person ID, last name, first name and age will be created. By using the insert command, I can insert the values into this particular table. Similarly, I have created another table known as the order table, that orders, create table orders with the field name as order ID, which is again an primary key, order number, okay, person ID. Are you observing this? Person ID is a common column which is there actually in the persons table as well as in this orders table. Now how I am referencing, how I am linking these two tables is by having a common column known as persons ID. So from where you have reference, what constraint you are applying there as foreign key, then you are taking the references. You are taking, what you are doing actually, you are making the reference from which table, that is that from the table persons, and which column you are accessing from the persons table, that is persons ID. I hope you are able to understand. So here actually I am taking this person ID, I am creating a column known as persons ID. Actually I'm fetching this person ID column from this table, So from this table I am accessing means obviously this table will become a parent table. This table becomes a parent table and this table becomes a child table. That's how the relationship will exist when we have the common column name. But how to write the syntax? Then specify the constraint name. What constraint? How this becomes person ID will become a foreign key now. Why it is foreign key? Because this column belonging to some other table. In some other table, this person ID is already a primary key. Isn't it? Now, order ID is here. Order ID is not a foreign key. Order number is not a foreign key. It's a, it's a local. It's a same column that belongs to an orders table. It is not someone's some other column field name it is. Therefore, we don't consider it as a foreign key. Whereas a person ID is from some other table. That's why we have that constraint name as a foreign key. So for person ID, its data type, specify the constraint name as foreign key. References, you are doing the references based upon the reference table. What is your reference table name? That is the persons, and then which column you are referencing, that is the person's ID. Therefore, you can now see the constraint, column level constraint as constraint name, references, referenced table. What was my referenced table? From the persons table, I am fetching the column known as that is the person ID. I hope this example at the column level is clear for you all. How we are defining the foreign key constraint. Students, in my next video with further more examples on foreign key we shall study. Take care of yourselves, students. Thank you.